Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the dev server because it had an update, so I thought I'd go over some of the things that they've changed since yesterday. Of course, this dev server is running for basically a week, maybe a little bit more, so there's going to be a bunch of little updates here and there, and I'm going to try and get through everything. As always, if you want to see the raw update details, you can check out the data mining Discord. I'll leave a link in the description to it, and also if you want to pick up any of the pre-order packs, I'll also leave some links in the description to those as well. It's been a busy few days. Let's continue it. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. Of course, they added the Ukikaze, which we had a look at before. This is just the standard premium that is coming in for Japanese destroyers. If you want to check it out, it was in a video that we did earlier on. But one of the vehicles I want to focus on is the L39ZA Albatross. They've just completely changed the flight model on this one. So basically everything that we had a look at yesterday, it's incredibly different from what it has before. You can see here that they've actually translated the engine, so it's the Ivchenko AI-25TL, but basically everything in terms of its flaps and in terms of its general flight model has just completely changed. So we're going to have a look at it again in the future and see how it is, since of course this is a premium vehicle that is coming in. Some other changes to vehicles, which is kind of fun. Number one, the F5E got itself a actual cockpit, which is quite nice. Basically, it's slightly different from the other ones that we've seen in the F5 family. You can see all of like the little different kind of dials and stuff. It also has the radar in the center. So generally just looks really nice for another F5, which is slightly different to the other F5s that exist. There's also another vehicle that got its cockpits. This one shouldn't be too surprising since it's basically a copy of another vehicle that has already come in. It's the Fokker D21. This one got itself a new cockpit, and also its pilot got changed from British to good old French. So that's kind of fun. Here's the cockpit itself. You can see the good old Fokker right there, and everything else. Really cool cockpit to actually see, and of course incredibly close to the pilot too. Very cramped overall. The RAH-66 also got changed, the new helicopter premium that is coming in for the Americans, the good old Comanche. They changed the cannon limits on this. The horizontal got slightly changed, but mainly the vertical was changed quite a lot. So basically before it was like +1, -1, and now it's way more, so it actually has the ability to arc and move around, so it will actually rotate. They also changed the armor slightly, basically changing the graphite armor that is here to 8mm instead of 9, and then the Kevlar graphite sandwich armor, which is fantastically named, is now down to a different one. You can see here 10mm instead of 12, which it was before. There's also a new loadout for the F-15E. They're adding in one for 6 of the AIM-120Cs. So you can see here, you have the one which has 8 with the extra fuel tanks, and then also you have the 6th one, which is a little bit lower, this one right here. They've also changed the AIM-120C. So basically they've completely revamped it. This one is got completely different stats compared to what it had before, so don't be too surprising if once again it changes. And the actual model itself has also changed. Basically before, the model was the AIM-120A, the AIM-120B, and now it's the AIM-120C, so it actually uses its correct model, and all of the stats have changed. If you want me to actually do like a deep dive into the missile and kind of show you all of the different stats, then I can do, but I would rather wait personally until kind of like the dev server ends, because you know these things change so much, and I can tell you something one day and then literally the next day it is completely different, which is basically what has happened here. Also, at the same time, the FA-18s are getting a bunch of different loadouts, since those are kind of another set of poster boys for the update. The FA-18A gets 2 AIM-7Ms, which are kind of turning up, so that's kind of nice. And then also the FA-18C early, not just for the Americans, but also the new Swiss one that's coming in, which is also a vehicle. They're getting access to Mavericks, so basically you can get these boys, the AGM-65Gs, and also the AGM-65Es, which is nice. You can also get it along with this, the ANAAS-38B targeting pod. So basically, this thing has the targeting pod on top of it. You can bring this with all the guided munitions as well. So overall, pretty nice to see on this type of vehicle. So yeah, it looks like that's what's going to be put in. You can also get the AIM-9Ls and the AIM-7Ps specifically just by themselves, but the targeting pod is looking pretty juicy. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's looking really nice in terms of its zoom, and in terms of like setting up when it comes to it. So yeah, I look forward to that as it kind of goes along, and also look forward to being able to use it while in the air. So really, really nice that they've added that to both FA-18C LEs. They've also changed some custom loadouts on the FA-18 MLU2. Nothing too crazy. It's basically just making sure that what is on the correct pylons is on the correct pylons. You can see here, these are what's on the pylons. This one also gets access to the AIM-120C, and then also all of the BOL pods and the guided munitions too, which is pretty cool. Another vehicle which also got a bunch of loadouts, which has turned up, is the Harrier, specifically the T10, the premium one, which you may have missed out on. This one actually gets the TILD targeting pod, along with Mavericks now, and also some 1,000-pound and 500-pound bombs, so you can bring this along too. Basically, so I don't know if you noticed this, but when it comes to premiums, they usually make it so you can kind of just like click a loadout that you want to play, whereas if you have a look at like a standard tech tree vehicle, you actually have to build like the actual setup for it. And the reason for this is just because, I don't know, it's easier to do, because you don't have to like screw with people's secondary loadouts and all of that stuff. The other thing is for France, the NF5A. Supposedly this thing's getting electronic countermeasures, at least according to the dev blog post that they put about it, which should be really cool. Right now it has the 30 large caliber countermeasures and then also 60 standard countermeasures. The other thing is they added a new loadout, which is just the A for AIM-9M2s. So you don't have to bring like the fuel tanks or anything like that. You can just bring these. Now, I still don't know the difference between these two. We'll have to see when it kind of comes in. But right now they have exactly the same stat cards, which kind of sucks. The Spider has changed, the big boy, the absolutely massive vehicle. Basically, the TRML 4D, the max range of it has gone from good old 120 to 250 kilometers. So this thing will be able to see stuff all over the place. It isn't just for this thing either. It's also for the IRIST SLM. So yeah, it's just nuts. You can see here the radar scope scale. You can now put it to 250 kilometers just in case you need that far, which I'm pretty sure you don't, but who knows at the end of the day what will happen. The good old, talking about like AAs, the Slam Rams also got some new DMs. So you obviously have like the 3mm steel all over the place. They're just placeholders. They're not ready yet, so I don't really want to put too much into it. But just to let you know that that is a thing. The Leclerc also got fixed, the MSC. And by fixed, I mean it's now more actually realistic. It got itself a 6-second reload. It got itself access to the APF SDS, so the G1 round, on top of the Heat FS. It got the less smoke grenades, and also they added a few boxes of armor here and there, and a few pieces of armor to kind of wander around with. So basically improving it to what it was. There's also been a bunch of changes to the battleships in terms of like survivability and in terms of what they're kind of designed to do in terms of tanking shots. Same with the PT-95, the true Leviathan of this update. It also got changed in that way. But basically the Sovietsky Soyuz got changed, the Iowa got changed, the Yamato got changed, the Roma also got changed. All of these things had little changes to all of their kind of damage models, and also how much damage they take and how easily it is to repair. So just understand there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of that. Also, they made sure to remember that the AMRAAM 120C5 on this vehicle is the same as the one on the F-15, so they've copied that over too, which is quite nice. And also, at the same time, the actual AIM-120C5 on the Slam Ram got changed too. So now this one is available. Surprisingly, they also added in the stat card for the AIM-9X. So you can see some of the values right here for it. It still doesn't work, at least from what I understand. So yeah, take these with a pinch of salt. There's also a bunch of other missiles that have completely the wrong stats. The Chinese SPAA still isn't in a position where it actually works properly, so I don't really know what's kind of going on with that one. We'll have to see what ends up happening. They're also adding way more carriers to a bunch of other maps. So, for example, the Battle for Spain and also Southeastern City from 10 to 7.3, there's going to be 2 Enterprises, 1 Lexington, a Wasp, and that is going to change to a Lexington and an Illustrious with 2 Moffats and Churchills going around them. So it looks like they're really adding in a bunch of carriers to like a ton of maps, and the reason for that is probably to make stuff like these anti-ship missiles work on a bunch of vehicles and to, well, just add them so they're useful. So a bunch of destroyers, a bunch of cruisers are getting updated. There's also a profile picture for Leo Major, which has been stuck in the files. Don't know whether you can actually get it or not. You probably can't, unfortunately. Maybe it'll come in the future. And then also, there is something else. There's a decoration image for the Chiton Type 1, which I'm guessing is some kind of Japanese decoration. I'm not entirely sure what that is. So that's the main changes when it comes to this little update of the dev server. There's a few little other things that we'll probably cover, but I want to just wait until some things get kind of finalized. There's a lot in this dev server that still doesn't work and also still just doesn't go properly. So as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Warthunder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.